through the pelvis, okay? And when it comes to pelvic misalignment, we want to correct the twist first. And then as a first layer, and then we can reassess what lies beneath that. So what we're going to start off with is a feedback loop. So I'm just going to angle this bench a little bit. I'm going to get you to grab a seat here and let's do some tests, okay? So the first thing I want to do is I want to test out her right duck foot test. So she's going to have her foot down and out. Can everybody see? I can stand up. So I'm going to start off with this test here, and I'm going to turn you in. I want you to resist as hard as you can and go. Okay? So try again as hard as you can and go. And what was that, 1 to 10? 4. Okay, 4. So, and remember, this isn't a surprise to us. It was a 4 to 10 previously, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to test out the right hip here. So hold that out to the side, resist as hard as you can, and go. Okay, now try again. Now here's the thing. Maybe she's not motivated, okay? So I want you to pretend that if you can't resist, a big fat sumo wrestler is going to sit on your face. Okay. Let's see if she's motivated.
Look up.
Oh, she got weaker. She got weaker. I think she wants it. All right. And she cramped. She's like, all right, bring him on. Where is he? Where's Jumbo? Okay, let me get you to stand up here. So what was that, 1 to 10?
2.
Okay, so we had a 2 out of 10 in the right hip. We had a 4 out of 10 with her duck foot test. Now I'm going to test the opposite shoulder, okay? Opposite shoulder, empty can. Resist as hard as you can and go. And what's that, 1 to 10?
3.
Okay, so we had a 4, a 2, and a 3. And then what we demonstrated before is that a lot of these things get better if we untwist her hips. So if you stand with your left leg forward of your right, okay? Now, resist as hard as you can and go. Can you see how much more stable her shoulder is? So what we have is a twist going through the body and it's contorting some of the other things. It's like getting a snag in your shirt. All your connective tissue fascia, everything's getting yanked. So what I want to do is I want to start with the center of the body because it affects things above and below. Okay? Because sometimes you can be like, where do I start? Do I start with trying to fix the foot or the shoulder, everything else? I usually start with the pelvis. Okay? Because I find it's the center of the body and everything's connected to it. And you know what? If that wasn't the root cause, those other problems will still be there after, and then you can sniper them. Okay? But you know what? You can't go wrong as long as you just keep testing and retesting and taking it one layer at a time. So once again, let's just go through your test here quickly. Grab a seat. We're going to start off with the duck foot test. Resist as hard as you can and go. Okay? And that was a 4 to 10 hip. Resist as hard as you can, go. And that was a 2 out of 10, and then left shoulder, stand up, arm out in front, resist, go. And we know that sounds good as well. Now, we're going to grab a seat here. Do you want a snack? Are you getting hungry yet? Okay, you let me know. Okay, you take care. There's more almonds where those came from. All right, so we're going to go through this protocol right now. Now, the main thing you need to do is make sure that you read the sheet and follow it accordingly. Because if you do the wrong side, you will make someone worse. Okay? So that's important. It's a very simple protocol, but make sure you actually look at the sheet, that you grab the right one, and that you do things on the right side here, because it's a very imbalanced protocol, because it takes an imbalanced approach to even out an imbalance. Okay? If everything's symmetrical, we're not going to make progress. So we're going to do outer hip stretch for left side only. So you're going to take your left ankle across your knee like this. Okay? And you're going to push your knee down and pull your foot up, relax and repeat, and you should feel this on the outside of your left hip. Okay? Now, a lot of people are going to be like, why are we doing this on the left side? I thought the issue was on the right side. Tension here can shove this hip back, which then shoves the opposite hip forward. So it may be initiated by excess tension back here, which is why we're addressing this, all right? So she's going to do that for about 12 reps. And while you do that, I'm going to chat with everybody. So you're going to see on the sheet I have the hip code. And these are various things she's going to have to follow because we want to understand how do we end up with a twisted pelvis to begin with. Because if we don't address how this problem began, then we're not necessarily educating our clients enough in order to prevent it from occurring again in the future. So avoid sitting with one leg crossed in front of the other. Avoid uneven arm swinging walking. So a lot of times when people are carrying a bag, they're only swinging one arm because they're carrying a heavy purse or something like that. So that's creating uneven tension through the postural slings. And I'll continue. Let me get you to stand up here. you're going to now, you see this area here, this is the tensor fasciae lata muscle, all right? It's going to be located, if you go, find your bony bump on the front of your hip right there. Now you walk about a couple inches down, now a couple inches lateral, and it's going to be right about the side pocket area. I need you to squeeze your glutes, and you're going to punch on that thing and just knee tenderize it. Okay, does it feel tender? I knew it would. All right, so the other thing is, you know, if she's playing a sport like golf, I want her to take a counter swing, because then she's doing 80 to 100 reps doing an uneven twist. Avoid foods that cause digestive troubles, because if somebody does get grabbed...
Which foods? I have yes, like
Don't worry. So what we can do is we can keep resetting your hips for now, but ultimately we would want to address things like IBS and anything that might create a little bit of bloating, and you know the stomach's on the left, so maybe when it gets a little bloated and engorged, that it can affect the tension from the inside out. So we just want to keep that on the radar. We want to avoid things that loosen or gap the SI joint, like spiral stretch, pigeon pose, figure 4 for piriformis, IT band stuff we need to be careful with, and just make sure we're being specific. Now, there's a whole bunch of different action steps here, and I would have her read through them and tick box what she thinks she needs to be careful with. And that's what I'll do with clients, okay? Now what we're going to do next is I'm going to get you to grab a seat. You're going to hug your right knee up like this. Now, you're going to make an immovable barrier with your hands. And I want you to extend your hip so that your knee is pushing into your hands while your hands hold onto it like an immovable barrier for 5 seconds. Now relax and repeat, and keep going from there. Now this is the last item in this corrective protocol. It is that simple and quick, okay? And it can be done literally anywhere, all right? Because look, we're just using a bench, like we're not using anything fancy. Now I've had many different variations of protocols for correcting a hip in the twist. This is what I've evolved to because I found it was simplest for clients to follow on their own, all right? But I could get into more advanced things for loosening up the TFL and stuff like that. I would consider those progressions. Let's just start with something that's very convenient, and then we can add novelty and all these other things later on. Yes, question?
Are these hypermobility friendly? Like we've got a little bit of stretching?
Yes, it's a percussion. So, and this stretch here, the outer hip stretch tends to be fine for people with hypermobility.
With SI gapping and stuff though?
I find I haven't had any problems with it. Yeah. Usually you're going to find if there's an issue with hypermobility, you're going to find I'm going to make a little note underneath for every one of them. I'll say, if hypermobile, default to this. But you know what? Truth through experience, so if you find it causes a problem or anything like that, then by all means I encourage you to modify accordingly with what you find. Okay, so that's it there. Let's retest things and see how we did. How long did that take?
95 minutes.
Okay, not even 5 minutes. So let's just retest things and see how we did. So we had a duck foot test was a 4 out of 10. So let's test that out, foot down and away, okay? And I want you to resist as hard as you can. And go. How strong did that feel?
Like 9.
9, so she went from a 4 to a 9 in a couple minutes. Amazing. Ready? Hip, hip? Okay, we'll get better with that. We'll get better with that. All right, so now the hip was a 2 out of 10. So let's see what we get there. Don't let me swing your leg in. Resist as hard as you can. And go.
Hey now.
That was good. Let's go again. Resist as hard as you can. And if you can resist, I'm going to give you an almond. All right, resist and go. Whoa! 1 to 10, what was that?
9.
9. She went from a 2 to a 9. Big round of applause there. Ready? Hip, hip. All right, good. Let me get you to stand up here. Now we're going to test out the left shoulder. And what I'm demonstrating here is all the kinetic chain connections. Because when she was like, why am I in this course? I want to learn about kinetic chain connections and how things are connected. So I thought, what better way to show rather than tell? And I'll show with you as an example. All right, since that's what brought you in here. So
It feels so much better already. Because I feel the info, I felt myself rotating. Now it feels so much better.
perfect. So she's already, in addition to functioning better, she's feeling better because everything's lining up. So let's test out this left shoulder. This was a 3 out of 10, I believe. Okay, so I'm gonna get you to resist as hard as you can. And go. Wow. And what's that 1 to 10?
8.
An 8. So from a 3 to an 8. Big round of applause there. Now, what I'm going to do is I say we're not done yet. You're going to have to follow your sheet. You're going to have to do it twice a day for 6 to 8 weeks to make it more permanent. We're also going to want to follow the hip code to make sure we don't bring that back. Now you did earn this. Here's your almond. You're going to go like this. I got an almond too. Little hug, hand, and then friends forever. Right? We want all of you to join us right now in one epic hip hip hooray cheer. Okay? Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Hip hip hooray!